Yo, what's up guys? My name is JD. Welcome to JDGTV. And today's episode is about my 8th year anniversary with a spinal cord injury. Life has been really crazy in the last 8 years. For all the tea in China, I would have never thought that this injury would ever happen to me. But, I'm so grateful and so happy to be alive so I can, experience days like today that are really beautiful out. So like 8 years ago on June 4th, 2011, I got hit by a truck in front of my house and broke my neck, and C3, 4, and 5 were all shattered. I posted a little story on my Instagram. If you guys are interested, you can check it out there too. But so I've been like super busy. I had like one of the greatest weeks of my life. Again, my aunt and my uncle came from Louisiana. They were here. My uncle was here for like 3 days. My aunt was here for like a week. And man, we did like stuff all week, doing all different things, going out to dinner, hanging out in the backyard, barbecuing. It was in the 80s. It was beautiful. I went to the VFW, and I'm telling you, these are the things that I would have missed out on if I, obviously if I was dead. And not that they're the greatest things to do, but just living life is all you can do. So going back to my injury, I've come so far in the sense of like, I remember seeing pictures of myself or just looking at myself in the mirror in the beginning of my injury, and I just looked like so unhealthy, so frail, like literally hanging on to life by like a thread. And I look at pictures of myself now, and I did like a complete 180. I gained like a ton of weight, you know what I mean? Like I went from like 155 to 90 pounds, and now I don't know if I'm close to that weight, but definitely up there. I'll probably show a couple pictures of what I looked like when I first got injured. I have a video on it. I'll leave like a little thing at the top so you can click on it to like see what I look like right after I got injured, and just kind of like the first couple of years.
It's one of the videos you play.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the videos that I play to the students when I go to give a speech, is because I really want them to understand like, okay, this is what it looked like in the hospital, and they see me and they're like, oh, this guy just looks like normal. But I really want to show them like the gritty and like gruesome stuff of, like what I actually look like in the hospital and what I actually looked like before my injury, because it's really hard to explain like, oh, I was in good shape and I played sports and blah, 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 blah. And then you're looking at me like, oh, look at this, skinny guy, he's in a wheelchair, he don't look like he could, pick up a pencil. And it's like, well, I could pick up a lot of pencils before. I'm so grateful to have, my mom, who's like my #1 supporter. And if it wasn't for her, none of these, most of these videos wouldn't be made, and I wouldn't be, I wouldn't look as good as I do. Not that I'm, super cocky or anything, but when you look good. And but yeah, so I really have to thank her for sacrificing her life so she can help me live mine. And I feel like that's really important when you have a spinal cord injury, is to have a good support base, because without having that support base, unfortunately, you can't do anything for yourself. And your family is really the only thing that you got, because I'd like to say that I had a lot of friends there, but your mom or your dad or whoever, someone in your family who's going to be taking care of you. And like I said, I'm just so grateful to have had great doctors that helped save my life, and physical therapists to get me where I'm at right now, because again, like, all these people have helped me get to where I'm at. All I needed was a little nudge from them, and here I am. So, now that I got my GED,
You need a cure.
Yeah, damn, we definitely need a cure. I just want to talk about like what it's been like to lead up to this point, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like my life was completely turned upside down, in the sense of like, I never knew any of this shit existed. I knew there was people in wheelchairs, but I didn't know that, how bad it could be. I think that is pretty common in wheelchairs is living arrangements. It's like, like where I'm from in New Jersey, most of the houses are like split level, nothing's handicap accessible. I mean, this is like one of like the first, like it's like the first 13 colonies. This place is old as the friggin' hills, So yeah, leading up to the 8 years, it was really a struggle. I remember waking up in the hospital. It was like a movie. I didn't know where I was. I couldn't speak. The only thing I could do is like blink my eyes. I couldn't say yes. I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. The only way I can communicate is like, after a while I figured it out. So, like, if I wanted something, it was like this. until finally like a nurse would come in, and then like
That was after they moved the vent tube from
then
your mouth into your throat.
they would look at me like, what do you want? And like I'd look at like the water with the sponge, and they would know, like, because my mouth was so dry I couldn't drink or eat anything for months. And yeah, and they would look at me and be like, we can't give you water. And then I would just go like this for non-stop until they're like, all right, fine, we'll give you some damn water so you can stop. So I got my way a little bit in the hospital, but it was just a long, like, drawn out war in the sense of just like having to relearn everything all over again, like so how am I gonna live my new life in this wheelchair? Because you're so used to doing everything you originally were before your injury. Like you wake up, get in the shower, get dressed, do your hair, brush your teeth, go to school, go to work, or do whatever, say hello to your, all that whole routine gets like completely changed. It's like completely gone. And life is a lot slower, like that I've learned before. I have to like unlearn and be like, okay, I can't live life like this, because if I do, I'm gonna go crazy thinking about like, oh, what if I did this or what if I did that? So you just gotta find like new like cracks on the floor, and kind of like water, just go through them and see which ones that you could go through and move through. And so that's what I've been doing. So I had to drop out of high school, because of my injury, and because it was so bad at the time, and I didn't have a diploma, and I wanted to get a job. Maybe I really wanted to go to college, like after my injury, because I knew that's the only way to propel me to the top, in my opinion, because it's not like I can just go out and start a construction business off like the knowledge that I knew before. If I didn't start doing motivational speaking, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And like I encourage people to go out and volunteer, because that's what I did in the beginning. I voluntarily went, asked, said like, hey, I want to give back to my community. Kessler, the place for spinal cord injury rehabilitation, they had done so much for me, like by giving me my life, like just getting me back on my feet, so to say, even though I'm sitting all the time, you know what I mean? But I wanted to give back and be able to like talk to newly injured patients and spread the message, spread the word on what a spinal cord injury is, and to help educate people who have a spinal cord injury, so they didn't have to like go down the road that I like, the hard road, because I didn't know, like me and my mom, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Everything was just kind of like being thrown in the pool without learning, without knowing how to swim. And if you can give people cutting edge information on how to bypass that, they don't have to take the long road like I did. Like right now, like everyone that I know, like all my friends, pretty much all graduated college, the ones that didn't drop out. But yeah, and also people say like, oh, I'm 25 or I'm 30 or I'm 40 and I don't want to go back to school, blah, 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 blah. Like screw all that, because I got a late start in life in the sense because of my injury. And now that I'm going to college, and I doubted myself actually, thinking like, oh, maybe I'm too old to go to college. And then I remember I saw like some 95-year-old dude and like 95-year-old woman like go back and get their college degree, and that inspired me to be like, this was like a while ago, like a year or 2 years ago, and I was like, oh wow, like if they could do it, like I could do it, you know what I mean? And it's never too late. Never too late. It's to do anything, and that's why I want to go to college, because I want to get to that next part of my life, getting a job and working and starting a family. And also, you gotta imagine being like 17 and I'm right at the cusp of like becoming an adult, and like spreading my wings and diving into life, like going to school or getting a job and just being on your own. And I feel like people think of like the physical aspect first, like, oh, right away, like, oh, he can't, like I can't walk, or I can't use my hands, or I can't use my arms. And that was a huge like portion of like almost, I want to say like depression or like sadness in my life. But I think like the emotional part is even worse, because you know what you're capable of doing and you can't do that, you know what I mean? I actually said this, I think, in my last anniversary video, something like, but just imagine like sitting home, like, and you're just like eating away at yourself, like emotionally, and it was really hard to get out of that state of mind. And basically when I got home from out of Kessler, I was not doing good the first, like, I don't even think I was home for like a full year. And my mom had found this place in California called Project Walk, which was an amazing physical therapy place, something that they didn't have in New Jersey at the time. And I was just going back and forth to the hospital and to the ER, and I was kind of like withering away. I wasn't getting any healthier. If anything, I was declining. And my mom just said, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna give you guys a little timeline, basically, of like from how I started to how I got here now. And my mom just like was like, screw it. I gotta like save my son's life. And she flew me out basically 3,000 miles all the way down to California to take me to like almost, you know, now it's at the time it was more experimental therapy where, you know, where now it's a little bit more mainstream in 2019, but in 2012 or whatever it was not, you know, it was more experimental than it was mainstream. And she flew us out there, and that place really changed my life because I was able to hang out with people, be around people in wheelchairs, and they, you know, sharing each other's stories and going out and hanging out with other people in wheelchairs. Where in New Jersey it was hard in the beginning because, you know, nothing's handicap accessible, and you know, there's snow, and California it's nice out all year round. So that place really, it was like a rehab almost for people with spinal cord injuries. And it was a huge facility, and it was kind of it was almost like a little campus, and it was great. And I really enjoyed my time there, and I savor the moments and the people I met there. Being able to be exposed by all these people with spinal cord injuries was amazing because I got to see the light at the end of the tunnel, because some of these people were like doing things where I was more like boxed in. You know, I always had a good outlook on everything I do, but internally, you know, you get boxed in, and a lot of people have, I stress this to people when I go to speaking events, is that like, you know, just because people don't look bad on the outside doesn't mean that they have like scars, you know, mentally or emotionally inside. So overcoming those obstacles were really hard for me, and eventually I pulled through, and we left from California and moved back here to my grandparents' house. And you know, I was like, what am I gonna do? I just been and then that's when I said to myself, okay, I need to do something. And that's when I started to, you know, start doing speaking, and then I started this YouTube channel. Then I was like, I want to get my GED. I got my GED. Then I was like, I want to go to college. Now I'm getting ready to go to college. So if you set up, you know, I didn't like write it down plan, but if you kind of plan and put your, you know, have your stars aligned, you can get to wherever you want to, regardless if you're in a wheelchair or not. But you definitely need to have a plan. You can't just be like, you know, just loafing and doing nothing, because, you know, in the beginning you could do that. That's okay, obviously. I did that for the first like year and a half, 2 years. But you definitely got to make a move at one point, and that's what I'm doing. Just trying to make moves, and I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to better myself for my family. I'm trying to, you know, just be a better person. But yeah, I'm just so happy to be alive, and I just wanted to share the story with you guys because I think it's important for you guys to know, if there's anyone that just got injured, that there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. And I remember like one of the doctors telling me, like in 5 years, like after, like right when I got injured, he's like, give it like 5 years and you'll be all right, you know? And I was just like, damn, 5 years? I'm like, dude, I'm 17, I can't like do anything. My life sucks, and you're telling me in 5 freaking years, like my life is gonna be better? Like that's like the worst news that I heard, is like, give it 5 years. And they're right, give it 5 years, and in that 5 years time, I made such a significant like turnaround in my life, like where I started doing things and getting healthier, like physically and emotionally. And that 5 years is come and gone. Now it's been 8 years, and life has only been getting better and better and better. I don't think there at one point has it gone down. I mean, has morale gone down sometimes? Definitely, but it always, you know, it's like the stock market. It always goes up. It keeps going up. It never goes down. If it does go down, it's only down for a short while. And that's the only way you can look at. That's how I look at life. Like, yeah, I'm just living my life and getting ready for school and doing some more speaking events. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out, I've been posting a lot on my Instagram, like a ton on my Instagram. My Instagram is instagram.com/JDGTV. I'm always posting stuff on there, and my Twitter at JDGTV93, and my website is at believinjd.com. I usually like blog and post all my YouTube videos on there. And if you want to like email me personally and ask me a question, like I said, go to my website. There's a contact me. But yeah, like I said, you can contact me, ask any questions. I'm a very open person. I've heard every question in the book, and yeah. So have a good day, and catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, bye bye.